Michael. Oh,
Okay, well, hello everyone. Thank you
Hi.
for being here.
Hi.
Okay, so today is November 24th, and we're going to talk about the evolution of smartphones and what we think is the best smartphone. So, who wants to start opening this topic?
Mike.
Well, I would like to say that right now smartphones are a very important thing in our lives because in the 90s and in the early 2000s, we had the camera, we had our phone, we had something to write, and now we have it all in our smartphone. So I think this development has brought a lot of tools to make a lot of things in order to improve our lives and the way we live. So I think smartphones are a great thing, and we should see how they have been improving since the last years.
Okay, thank you. That was very interesting. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think that the evolution of smartphones has been like really exponential. Mike says, it started in the 90s with big squares telephones with no camera, with no applications, just to call. And now we have really like little phones with cameras, calculator, internet, social media, stuff like that.
Okay, so you guys think that it's better to have everything in just one device?
Well, it's not that it's better, it's more convenient because I think some people would like to have it separately in order to do different tasks at different times of the day. Because when you have your phone right there, it's very easy to spend more time on the phone than other things that you should.
But I think it's more practical. Like it's easier to carry just one device instead of carrying like several devices.
Okay, guys, you got a point there, both of you. I want to hear what she has to say about all of this.
I totally agree with Iñaki's idea that smartphone is something that like has a lot of functions in just a cell phone, a device you carry in your everyday life, and actually in our modern life has played an important part in the development of the society, from schools that use an iPad to teenagers that use cell phones, for example, for math or for just doing a homework or researching something in Google that could help or could like solve a problem that you have in your everyday life. So a smartphone is a tool that helps you in your daily life.
Okay, so you will say having a smartphone makes people being more productive.
Yes.
Okay. Andy?
Well, to complement what the three of you just said, yeah, I think it's like really interesting how technology has evolved. Because I mean, nowadays we can't even live without a phone. I mean, it's like close, or I mean, they are like essential. And yes, I mean they are yeah, I mean like essential for us. I mean, right now in school, for example, without a phone or a computer, we wouldn't be able to study. So nowadays, I mean, that could be taken as an advantage and as a disadvantage, because I mean, like there's people who can't even afford buying a phone, and that makes them to be in a disadvantaged position because they are not able to, I mean, like have all this practical stuff.
Yeah, actually, I think that's very true. But this leads me to this question. Like, it's for everyone. And do you guys think that now that we all have smartphones, well, the majority of us. Then people are becoming like obsessed with them, like are depending on them, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah,
that, for
Yeah,
example,
obviously, as I
something.
said, when you have your phone and all the tools that you have there, it's very difficult not to get it and not to start working or even not working to go on social media and spend a lot of hours in Instagram or other applications instead of putting your time in something that it will do something for your benefit.
Yeah. Also, for example, is that nowadays we have like all our contacts in the phone, but before our parents not needed to learn like the phone number so they can call it like in a public phone or something like that. But now we don't know any number. For me myself, I just know my number, my mother's, and 991. 911.
Actually, that's
Yeah, you have to call the 911.
actually that's a point that I agree with all of you, that smartphones have made some people more useless because they do not know how to live without their their smartphones. As Iñaki said, he only knows his mother's and himself's number. So you need to know like more numbers. If something happened and your mom's not available, you need to call your dad, your uncle, or someone else. Also, for example, when you look for information, you usually take your phone, you open Google, and you look for the thing you want to look for. Before they use like encyclopedias to look for the definition of the topic, or they even go to the library. Like we don't see that often. We do not see that like people going to libraries
Yeah,
or
because you have all
looking for
information at all hours.
encyclopedias, right? They have the information on their phones all the time.
yeah, it's very confusing because I think, well, in my opinion, that it can make you very productive, but also, as Chewy said, kind of useless, So I think it's a very difficult conversation.
Yeah, I think like somehow phones have like weakened some of our abilities, like for example, searching for information or memorizing things, like Iñaki said, or I mean like all that kind of skills that we needed. We don't don't depend on them right now. So yeah, like there are a lot of skills that have weakened thanks to the phone.
Yeah, for sure. But right now we're talking like focusing the smartphones, how they change our lives. But if we talk about them in like a technology development way, it's a completely different point of view, because I don't know, it's a very good technology. Like I can't remember the name, but that thing that went to the space with the same system as an iPhone. No?
Microchip?
Yeah, I think.
I don't know.
But now we have that system in our iPhones. I think it's incredible. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
I also think
Well,
that, well, technology has made the advance that we have now really, really small chips and computers that are incorporated in our phone. So now we can have like really, really powerful phones in a really, really tiny space. So that's really cool. That's something that you were saying, no, about like the space or stuff like that. Mike.
yeah, as you said, when we have smaller chips and greater technology, then the market opens for more sellers. Like we have this big company such as Apple, but then we have Android. So then it starts this battle that gives people the phones that they need, because when you have an iPhone, you have the brand of an iPhone, and yeah, it will work as good as you want. But if you have another phone from an Android or those brands, maybe you have a better development, but you want the iPhone because it's an iPhone and it has gathered a name to its brand and for what it means. So that is also a thing to think about.
Yeah, sure. And you also said something very interesting that it's that they give you the iPhone that you need, uh, but maybe they're like giving you an iPhone to create another need and then selling you another phone. So yeah, it's very difficult.
I see Mike's point about Apple and Android and all of that, but cell phone development has allowed many branches to create the cell phone that we need. For example, Apple has, for example, one of the best cameras in the market that is for taking videos, photos, and all of it to help content creators like to make videos or to photographers make photos and all of that. But there's also other like marks, like for example, you could talk about Samsung, that is for other type of people that like it has more capacity, more and some other things that they compete with Apple in that stuff.
Yeah, and that's like to see which brand is the best when we talk about price and quality.
I think that Apple has this name because he was the first to get a smartphone in our hands. You remember in 2017 when 2007 when Steve Jobs introduced this new telephone, everyone was like, "Wait, do you say I'm going to have a phone, but also a thing that we have internet connection and it's touch?" Well, now I want it, and I want to have it, and I wanted to have more tools that can make my life easier. And since that time, the iPhone has developed to get more features like its own app shop and a lot of things that make iPhone and Apple what is now. But also, as Chui said, brands like Samsung, Xiaomi can offer better things than iPhone. Like this one has 3 hours battery, like and a Samsung will have a 7 hour battery, but I still get the iPhone because it's the name of the iPhone, and I want the software that it has, and I want the iOS and Macintosh just because of the name, not because what it gives me.
Yeah, also like each brand has like its own distinguisher. For example, Apple is good for their camera and and their operational system. But for example, if I don't remember bad, Samsung is no, Sony is really good because of their sound of their speakers, and I think Samsung is good because of the quality of the screen and stuff like that. For example, they have the OLED, like there's kind of curve in the screen.
Yeah, sorry,
Sorry.
Andrea, continue.
No. So for example, I mean, you're saying that the phone that you should buy depends on the features you are looking for. I mean, like for example, if you're a photographer and you want to take really good pictures with your phone, because I mean, professional cameras are not cheap. So the point is, if you are looking for certain features, you should buy like a certain brand of phones, not necessarily like an iOS or an Android.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say something similar, but the question because there are a lot of factors involved that made an smartphone good or something. So I wanted to ask you guys, what are you looking in a smartphone?
First of all, the quality, and also if it's like a quick smartphone with a quick operational system, and also like the battery duration.
Well, in my case, for example, of course, the camera, um, just as Iñaki said, the operational system and the battery life, and also that it has like a friendly system. I mean, that is easy to use.
Actually, I prefer a cell phone with a lot of functions because the more it has, the more it gets. Because, for example, I used to have an iPhone, but I changed to Samsung. Why? Because the iPhone cell phones were like kind of repeating. Just they add like a camera and that's it. You got a new Samsung got like from the Note 9, it was like a curved display and like one camera and a slower processor. And in the new one, they got like the same kind of screen with a higher resolution, with more capacity, and with a better Android system. The newest that there is the new like actualization or upgrade that it has the Android software. So the newest and also the more function the cell phone has, I prefer a new cell phone.
Well, as Trey said, I had used Android for a long time in my life, and I have used iPhone for a long time in my life. And for what can I say is that I prefer iPhone because when you have an Android, you can do a lot of things like you can download anything you want from internet, and they can get virus or something like that or malwares. But in iPhone, there's control. There's that is like not allowed. You can only get the apps from the app store, and that makes it more safer to the person that will buy it. And also, the operational system is friendlier. Like everyone knows how to uh, how to control an iPhone, but an Android is a different thing. So I would say I prefer an iPhone, even though it doesn't have the 140 hertz screen that a Samsung will have.
I would like to add that you were saying that Apple is more safer, but for example, in Android, you have the ability to root your phone, that is to like unlock many new features that your phone has. For example, years ago, it was almost impossible to record the screen of your phone, but nowadays it's really simple. But back in the day when it was impossible, Android users could do that because of their routing. That like they could root their phone and they could like, for example, record the screen or play some certain games at a certain frame rate, which is better and stuff like that.
Yeah, it definitely depends in each person preferences because well, Chewy likes um, the Samsung or whatever because it has more functions. But I will say Apple as well because I think it's pretty and it's not like I use it, you know, like for work or for school. So I don't need an iPhone or a smartphone with a lot of functions. So yeah, it clearly depends. So will anyone like to say something to conclude this topic?
I would like to add that, for example, as Mike, I have used Android and now I have iPhone. And for example, in iPhone, I get accustomed really, really fast. Like it was really simple for me to like to know how to use it, to know how to use applications, to know how to use the operational system because it's different, but it's not that different.
Actually, smartphones have come a long way since they created, and right now there are many brands that have created different smartphones for every people needs. For example, Aixa that likes because it's prettier, and Iñaki or Mike that because of the operational system that has the iPhone that provides the iPhone that is easier to use. So smartphones play an important part in our lives, but we need to use them with moderation in order for them to be an effective tool for us.
Thank you, Chewy. What about you guys, Andy and Mike?
Well, I would like to hear what's Andy's opinion, and that's all.
Well, I personally prefer the iPhone because for me, at least for my lifestyle or the things I do daily, it's more useful, and I think it's sorry, I think it's easier. Um, and besides, I mean, like the design, I like it way more than the Android phone. So I mean, I think that is up to everyone. I mean, like both operational systems are really good, and they are just, I mean, like um yeah, it's up to each person.
Thank you, Andy. Well, I think this will be all for today, and we ended up sharing a lot of different ideas that were very interesting, like in the evolution and our preferences. So thank you guys for everything.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Have a nice day.